To the Twin Cities Real Estate Unlimited show. I'm Laurie Knudson with the MLS Online, located out of Champlin, Minnesota. And with me on screen is Brian Nelson with Mortgages Unlimited. Brian, I've got the camera on you if you want to go ahead and tell everybody where you're from.
Hello, everybody. I am broadcasting from our corporate headquarters at Mortgages Unlimited here in Maple Grove, and excited to do today's show.
Yeah, well, today's topics we're going to cover, because it is June 8th, so we're going to get into some lake weather, lake visiting weather, I should say, and we're looking forward to 4th of July already, making plans. So what I've got planned to share here, let me go ahead and pull that up on my screen. It just takes me just a moment. First, I should probably show our front page, though. So can you see that all right, Brian?
Yes, I can.
Great. Okay. So what I've got here is our Facebook page for our Twin Cities Real Estate Unlimited show. We try to do a show every week at 3:30, and then we put it up for recorded video for you to watch back. So we hope that you all take the time to head to that page, and there'll be lots of answers to questions. We try to pick a new subject every day that we do the show. So let me go ahead and bring forward what I was going to talk to you all about today, which is lakes and the homes that are for sale currently as of June 8th today, 2016. I did a radius, and I hope you can see it okay, Brian. I've got a circle radius there of about 9.4 miles, kind of out of south of Annandale. So this is just west on Highway 55, or if you were to go out Highway 12, that would be down here by Cokato. And I picked this area mainly because I myself have a house here in the area. And actually, if I redraw this circle, I have a new listing out here, and I wanted to give a shout out for that new listing. So as you can see, there's lots of homes for sale. What I pulled for criteria here was basically 180,000 to, I think I put about 600,000, 800,000 in there, just so all different price ranges in there. And for that price range, if you're going to look between 180,000 and upwards of 800, you're going to find some real quality lake properties. You're going to find something that's reasonably finished, has a septic and well most of the time out on those properties because we are in the country, and has some really nice lakeshore. And if we zoom in, I can even show you how some of the premier lakes have representation housing on it. So of course in this area we're looking at Sugar Lake being one of the better lakes out in the Annandale area, Clearwater, Cedar, there's even Indian Lake over here that's just not labeled, Pleasant Lake, Lake John, Lake Sylvia, which is connected to Twin Lake, Lake Francis, and then towards the Buffalo area here we have Maple Lake, and then Rock Lake down here. And so there's, as I hover over each one of these little icons, I guess my point is I'm just trying to show people that there's plenty of lake listings out here. And this particular area, I know because I lived in Annandale for many, many years now, we have 26 lakes alone in the school district. So Maple Lake has its own school district over in this area, and they've got plenty of lakes in that district as well. We get over here towards Lake Ida and even Lake Maria State Park. There's some beautiful lakes out here. So I can just click on a few of these houses to kind of show them off because we are at that time of year. This one here is on Pleasant Lake. Pleasant Lake is located right near Annandale. We're talking about some very nice sand bottom on this lake. Very picturesque views, as well as sugar sand beach frontage. And I actually have a home on this lake, so know it very well. And if we look at a close-up picture of this house, you can see it's a beautiful rambler, and this is listed at $314,900. And you can see that it's beautifully finished with a pole barn in back, and that is the frontage. The unique thing about this home, all fair disclosure here, is it is across the street from the lake, but you do own the lake property over here as well. And that is just unique to this side of the lake. Now it gets a little bit more wind than the other parts of the lake, and so you can see it. It's moving around a little bit here, but without any trouble at all, you can see just the pure sand frontage, as well as the clarity. It's got very good clarity on this lakes. So,
Laurie,
go ahead, Brian. Did you have a question?
well, I was going to ask you, when people are looking at lake homes, most commonly you're kind of thinking, well, if this house was sitting in the city or something, it wouldn't be as expensive. Is there lake homes are kind of the value, a lot of it is based on that square footage of the actual lake access, isn't it?
It is. It's the linear lake frontage foot. And these are about 100-foot lake lots in that stretch that I just showed you. I kind of have dubbed myself the name Laurie the Lake Lady for this particular area down towards Lake Minnetonka as well, even out to White Bear Lake. So I've been a lake volunteer, and I know a little bit about the nuances of each lake. This particular lake of Pleasant Lake has less taxes for homes on this side of the lake because of the road going in front. So when you're looking at a home like this for $314,900, you're looking at a full $100,000 discount is my best guess from if you didn't have the road there. So you could kind of think of it as cashing a check every time you cross the street. Now that street does have some traffic on it, but it's the kind where you can wait, and I've shown this property before. You can wait all of 5 to 10 seconds, and then you can slowly walk across the street. It's not a deal breaker, and it's a way to get a beautiful sunset view at a price that you can get into for $100,000 to $150,000 less. Now, of course, there are properties that are direct lakefront, and those you're going to pay just a little bit more. Here's a beautiful one on Lake Sylvia, and I happen to know the listing agent and the homeowners on this one as well. And that one doesn't have any road in front, and Lake Sylvia is quite a premier lake. The lake water quality is even better. And with no road in front, you're looking at a much higher price tag. So it depends where your purchase point is. There's one other one I wanted to show here, although there's many to choose from. And so I want to give a shout out to the listing I have that's new on Maple Lake. Maple Lake, we kind of joke, has 3 different sections. Sometimes people call it a snowman, if you look at the big belly there. So we have some listings over here on Maple Lake that are on the beautiful southeast shore, which you do get a nice sunset in the summer from. And we have one at $249,900, and then we also have another one, let me pull it in closer here, at the $234,900. And $234,900 is my listing. This is a beautiful 1-bedroom home up on top, and then another bedroom that just needs a ceiling and a little bit bigger egress window, and that could be the 2nd bedroom in the lower level. It's got beautiful sand frontage. It does have a slight hill of about 20 feet with a beautiful staircase going down to the lake, and it's very beautifully finished inside. It's move-in ready. There's a large 2-car garage detached, and there's a little bit of that ceiling that needs to be finished. Otherwise, all finished in the basement. Beautiful screen porch. And hopefully it will show me that 2-car garage yet. Oh, there it is. It's actually a 2+. It's got concrete floor. It's got gas plumbed in. So at this, you're looking at $234,900. It's a real nice value. So there's plenty of houses out there, and I just wanted to give a shout out to anybody looking right now that, if you just travel an hour west, you can go down Highway 55 or up onto 94, which is the way I go, to Monticello and take the back roads, and you are into what we call mini Brainerd. So I wanted to give a shout out for that area and let people know that I'd be more than happy to do a search for them or have them hop onto my website and do their own searching, which is real easy to get to. It's Laurie, Laurie, Laurie Knudson, knudson.themlsonline.com. So, and we'll have my contact information at the end of the show as well. So I wanted to just give that little kind of preview of the various lake properties out there just west, 1 hour drive from the cities. If you're looking at getting some kind of lake property, now's the time. We've got plenty of them out there. They're starting to become a hot market, but still plenty available too. So yeah. Any questions, Brian?
Well, you covered a lot there. And one other question, when people are out there searching for a lake home, talk a little bit about the elevation, or one of the things that sets some houses apart from other. And is that, I suppose, it depends upon your age as far as how desirable that is, or what's, some of those homes can get a high elevation, meaning that there's a lot of stairs, 50, 100 stairs all the way down to the lake.
It's an excellent question. Yeah. And the first property that I showcased there was on Pleasant Lake on that east side. And the reason I showcased that one is it's a flat elevation. There's no steps per se at all. And that's a rambler too. So there was a steps to the basement, obviously, but it's just no elevation, and it's no hassle at all to get across. You can move as slow as you'd like, really, across that street. Their speeds are supposed to reduce quite a bit there because it's pedestrian. So that would be a nice level lakeshore. Some of the second property I showed you, my listing, does have a hill elevation. It's got 32 stairs to the lake. However, it depends how they build the stairs. In this case, the seller took quite a bit of care and built them only at 6-inch increments, not the normal 10, which is going to be much more steeper. So 6 inches to go down each step, plus their extra wide steps. So I took a couple down the stairs last night, and it was really a nice, easy walk for them. And then another thing to consider with that elevation is you do get the higher view. You get a better view of the lake. And you also have the ability, and I've checked with Wright County zoning on this, give them plans to approve, but they said you can still build a new boathouse. So that's super important. You can build a brand new boathouse onto that hill and walk out onto the top of the boathouse and have a beautiful view of the lake. Wow. And be real close to the lake. And thirdly, in Annandale, they actually have a company that makes those lifts that ride down like an elevator down to the lake. And for a couple $1,000s, you can improve your access to the lake dramatically. So I would never let elevation hinder me from looking at a lakeshore property. But that's a great question. Thanks for asking it.
I've seen some of those, they're almost like chair lifts, a little elevators that go down and up.
Yep. While you're looking at your slides, Brian, I'll actually Google what the name of that place is so we can pass that on to the consumers here.
Oh, great.
So we'll let you go ahead and do a screen share now.
All right. Well, thanks, Laurie. What I wanted to talk about today was calculating escrows in your payments. Another not so exciting topic, but if you're calculating out your payment, you're trying to figure out, okay, well, principal and interest is going to be X amount, but how much, let's say you qualify for $150,000 home, and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how much extra do I have to add into the payment for the taxes and the insurance, things like that. Well, so we're going to do a simple exercise here, and I pulled up on the screen here how to calculate an escrow payment. This is by Wiki How to Do Anything. And basically, the first thing that you want to do is kind of figure out what is the monthly, your monthly escrow payments. And you're going to start off with your taxes, property taxes. Usually the prior year is the best indication if you don't have the current year. But this just shows a tax statement, but you probably won't have an actual tax statement like that. But a lot of times on the real estate listing, it'll tell you how much the payments are. So you start by pulling that up. And the second thing you do is figure out your homeowner's insurance. You may want to go ahead and get a quote from your current insurance provider. What would be insurance be on something? But the number that I usually use is about $1,200 a year. And it ranges anywhere between $1,200 to maybe $1,500, $1,700, depending upon the price of the property. But Once you have those two figures, all you're going to do is take and divide those figures by 12. So in this case, they're estimating $2,400 for the taxes and $1,200 for the homeowner's insurance. So that all equals out to $300. So $300 more you'd add to your payment, as far as when you're calculating out. And this is helpful also in case you're trying to figure out between two properties. If one, the taxes say it's $2,400 and the other says $3,600. Well, that's $100 difference right there when you take out that extra $1,200. So that kind of helps you in your mind. At least you can calculate those out and compare between the two. But otherwise, it's basic math where we just take it and divide it by we take the annual amount and we divide it by 12. Does that make sense, Laurie?
Yeah, it does. It's really a helpful tool. So I think that's kind of cute that they have the WikiHow that you can pull up to show that. So that should really help people out. And of course, they can always contact you to get, a quote from it as well, correct?
That's correct. A lot of times, I even have like a mortgage calculator that you can have on your smartphone. Maybe one time we'll talk about that. But different ways that if you don't know how to calculate it out. And one other thing, what I do is when I'm talking with people, one thing that's helpful is to tell you the difference. And it's roughly $5 per thousand if we deviate from whatever amount we're talking. So let's say we're looking at a $150,000 home and we've got whatever the payments are going to be. So let's say it's $1,000 a month. I'm just throwing out numbers. But the way if you found another house that was $160,000, rather than calling me up, if it's 1 a.m, you're trying to figure out what would that be. Why, what you can do is figure out the difference between 150 and 160 is 10,000, and it's $5 per thousand. So 5 times, so then it'd be $50 would be that 10,000.
Yeah, that's a nice, easy way for people to be able to do that. So I appreciate that tip. Those are all things that buyers just don't really typically consider when they're purchasing a home. And that's why they need to talk with you.
Yeah, and Laurie, when you're out showing homes, if the taxes aren't current, oftentimes you'll pull up and to make sure you have the most up-to-date tax records, because they do change quite a bit. And that's why Laurie pulls that information up ahead of time before you're going out there looking at it, making sure it's all up to date. Because sometimes if the listing's been on there for 6 months or before the new taxes have been released, they don't always update those. And all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, the payment's going to be this, but all of a sudden you realize, no, it's going to be a little bit different because they didn't have, the current tax year in there. So.
Yeah, I mean, and that can happen. Right now we're into June, and, there's possibility that some of those agents need to update the records there. So absolutely. Good tips. Okay, well, I did find that elevator. Now, this one is the one located out of Orono, but this is the kind of thing that I was referring to called the Hill Hiker. And so you can kind of see here, they're going to roll through some of the screens. But if I go to the bottom, this is what I'm referring to. You can put it right next to the stairway. And this is very, very usable. And some of these are super steep that they're showing it. Now, I have never seen anything that steep personally. That's a really steep one. But, it is an option to gain access to the lake. So I wanted to make sure people knew that that was there. So yeah, let me go ahead and stop that screen share. So that was located out of Orono, and certainly there's one out of Annandale too. I just couldn't seem to find the name of it. So, but if anybody has any questions too, I'd be happy to dig for that information and get that to them. So great. And then if they have any questions, Brian, let's give them the information that they can contact you again at. I know it's closewithbrian.com. That's
correct. You go to that for my website. And then for my phone, it's my cell phone, 612-750-6692. On that website, it'll have my email addresses and all that as well. So,
Well, and what I want to give a shout out to Brian about is, for anybody looking for a competitive lender, he works the hardest to get the best rate out there, very, very aggressive for his pricing, and also just really has quality advice to bring you when you're applying for a loan. So if you're looking for a good lender, I recommend Brian highly. And then I think that's about it for our show. I don't even have any more screens to share. So I just want to point out to anybody that if they want to go to our Facebook page, again, the name of the show is Twin Cities Real Estate Unlimited Show. All of our contact information, including your NMLS, which is a number that needs to be provided to the public, and my real estate information is all located on that. So please do go to Facebook, check us out, or go ahead and contact us at our companies. Brian's with Mortgages Unlimited out of Maple Grove, and I'm with the MLS Online out of Champlin. So until next week, we'll just be signing off.
Thank you all for listening.
Thanks now. Bye-bye.